Look at your life. You spend your days stressed, exhausted, and burdened. You feel productive, but you're not. You're busy, but you're not moving forward. Why? Because you are wasting 90% of your energy on decisions that have zero long-term impact. You're agonizing over a menu, over what to wear, or which Netflix series to watch next, or which email to reply to first. You are a CEO of a life running on a 90% distraction rate. This isn't just decision fatigue. This is a life strategy paradox. The truth is, 90% of your daily choices are noise. They are trivial. They are forgettable. And they are sabotaging your life because they draw energy away from the 10% of choices that truly dictate your destiny. You are 3,000 words away from learning how to filter out the noise. In the next few minutes, we're going to give you a simple, powerful framework rooted in Stoicism and modern science to identify the tiny fraction of decisions that'll maximize your wealth, your happiness, and your character. Stop spinning your wheels. Let's find the 10%. Chapter 1. The Stoic Root, Redefining the Dichotomy of Control. Our journey begins 2,000 years ago with the Stoic philosopher Epictetus and his most famous principle, the dichotomy of control. For the uninitiated, this principle states that some things are up to us, our actions, our judgments, and some things are not up to us, other people's opinions, the weather, the outcome of an event. The traditional Stoic advice is to focus only on what you can control. But here's the problem with the modern application of this idea. It's too broad. If your morning routine is up to you, but choosing what shirt to wear is also up to you, how do you differentiate the small actions from the truly important ones? How do you avoid the 90-10 trap? We need to redefine the dichotomy of control through the 90-10 lens. The 10% decisions are those purposeful, high-leverage actions within your circle of control that also directly influence your core values and long-term trajectory. And the 90% decisions are everything else. They are the trivial actions you can control, but which you should choose to be indifferent to, because they distract you from the 10%. You might control what to eat for lunch, but choosing between a burger and a salad is a 90% choice. It consumes mental bandwidth, but the actual impact on your life over the next 5 years is negligible. However, choosing to pre-prepare all your meals for the week is a 10% decision. It's a single, high-leverage choice that automates 100 other small decisions, frees up mental space, and directly serves your long-term health goal. The Stoics knew this intuitively. They knew that true freedom comes from indifference to the trivial, allowing you to pour all your intention into the vital. Chapter 2. The Irreversible versus Reversible Filter. The 90-10 test. Now, let's get practical. How do you distinguish a 90% choice from a 10% choice in the moment? You use the irreversible versus reversible filter. Most decisions in life fall into two buckets. Bucket 1, reversible decisions, the 90%. These are decisions that can be easily undone, changed, or corrected without significant damage, financial cost, or time loss. Which book to read next? Which font to use in a document? Whether to answer a phone call now or later? Buying a new pair of shoes. These decisions do not require more than 60 seconds of your consideration. If you can revert the action or the cost is small, let it go. Move fast. Being wrong quickly is often more productive than being right slowly. Bucket 2, irreversible decisions, the 10%. These are decisions that create a cascading, long-term impact and are extremely difficult, expensive, or impossible to reverse. Career: accepting a job that forces a major relocation. Finance: taking on a massive, long-term debt. Relationships: choosing a life partner. Time: committing to a project that will consume the next 5 years. These decisions demand deliberation, reflection, and external consultation. Consider the difference. You spend 15 minutes deciding which laptop case to buy, 90%. But you spend 3 minutes deciding to accept a 6-figure job offer that dictates your location for 5 years, 10%. This inversion of effort is the reason you're stressed and stuck. The Stoic application. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Take away your opinion, and there is taken away the complaint." When you apply the irreversible filter, you remove your opinion from the 90% choices. They are not worthy of your mental complaint, your debate, or your stress. They are noise. Reserve your powerful judgment for the 10% that truly matter. Chapter 3. The 4 core spheres of the 10%. So where exactly does the precious 10% live? Across the thousands of decisions you face each year, only a handful will fundamentally alter your future. We can group these high-leverage choices into 4 core spheres. Sphere 1. Health and energy, the foundation. The 90% is worrying about the latest health fad or whether to hit snooze once. The 10% is making the irreversible commitment to a minimal, consistent physical practice. Example: committing to training 3 times a week regardless of how you feel. Committing to a specific non-negotiable bedtime. These are single decisions that multiply your energy and focus across every other domain. Sphere 2. Core relationships, the mirror of self. The 90% is texting back instantly or worrying about a random acquaintance's opinion. The 10% is choosing your inner circle, and most importantly, choosing your life partner. Quote, as Seneca said, "Associate with those who will improve you." The choice of who you allow into your closest proximity is the ultimate 10% decision, as they either lift your standards or drag them down. Your values are a reflection of your closest peers. Sphere 3. Deep work and skill acquisition, the multiplier. The 90% is checking email, attending unnecessary meetings, or cleaning up tiny errors. The 10% is choosing which skills to invest in and blocking out non-negotiable time for deep work. Example: deciding to master a single high-demand skill for 2 hours every morning rather than trying to dabble in 5 different projects. Your 10% is the choice of focus, doing one thing incredibly well. Sphere 4. Integrity and virtue, the character test. This is the most Stoic sphere. The 90% is the small compromise, telling a white lie, cutting a corner. The 10% is the moment you face a major ethical choice that defines your character. For example, standing up for a value when it is costly, keeping a difficult promise when it would be easier to break it, or accepting a temporary financial loss to maintain your integrity. As Marcus Aurelius instructed, look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig. The choice to live virtuously is the one decision you must never automate or delegate. By focusing your attention only on the irreversible choices within these 4 spheres, you have successfully filtered out 90% of the world's mental clutter. We've discussed the irreversible filter. We've identified the 4 spheres. Now we're about to show you how to obliterate the 90% using automation. But first, If this framework is already beginning to unclutter your mind, then you understand the value of high-leverage information. My goal is to deliver insights that truly change your life, not just fill your feed. Make the 10% decision right now. Hit the subscribe button. It's a tiny action that helps this channel focus on delivering more of the content that matters. And if you're already subscribed, take the high-leverage choice to leave a comment below right now with one decision you're currently wasting time on. Let's build a community focused on the 10%. Chapter 4. Decimating Decision Fatigue, the Automation Strategy. The ultimate power move of any high-performing individual is to outsource the 90% decisions to a system. This is the art of automation. Why did people like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg famously wear the same clothes every day? Not because they loved gray shirts, but because they understood that deciding what to wear is a 90% choice, and they needed that mental capital for the 10%, the billion-dollar decisions that change the world. You must become a ruthless automator of the trivial. Here are 3 simple strategies. 1. The default yes list, the triviality rule. For any reversible decision that has a minimal cost and a potentially positive outcome, e.g., attending a networking lunch, taking a walk, reading a recommended article, create a default yes list. If it fits your basic criteria, do not deliberate. Default to yes and save the mental energy. 2. The rule of 2, the choice constraint. Limit your options. The 90% thrives on endless choice. Never give yourself more than 2 options for recurring choices. Breakfast, option A or option B. Workout, run or lift. Tired? Go to bed or take a 10-minute meditation. By constraining your choices, you force the trivial 90% to surrender instantly. 3. The morning system, the non-negotiable ritual. Program the first 3 hours of your day. The morning is when your willpower is highest. Use it for the 10% decisions. Example, the first 3 hours are non-negotiable. 30 minutes of exercise, 60 minutes of deep work on your most important project, 90 minutes of learning. When you wake up, you don't decide to do these things. The system demands them. You have made the 10% choice once when you created the system to eliminate the 90% temptation every single morning. By creating these walls of automation, the 90% decisions crash harmlessly into the system, leaving your full, focused attention available for the few choices that truly define the quality of your life. Chapter 5. The Ultimate 10% Choice, the Epictetus Principle. We've covered the irreversible choices that build your life, your health, your relationships, your skills. But there is one final, ultimate 10% choice that is more fundamental than any other. It is the choice that is always up to you, in every moment. And that is how you will react to what happens. This is the pure Epictetus principle in action. You will face failure. You will be betrayed. You will be insulted. You will lose what you love. These external events are the inevitable 90% of life that you cannot control. The 10% is your internal response. Will you react to betrayal with bitterness and rage, or with dignified indifference? Will you respond to failure with self-pity and quitting, or with analysis and renewed effort? Will you meet the certainty of your own death with terror, or with the calm acceptance of a natural, necessary cycle? This is the highest leverage decision you can make because it instantly defines your character. Your external circumstances are fate. Your character is destiny. As Marcus Aurelius writes, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. The thoughts you choose to harbor, the judgments you choose to make in the face of adversity are the single most important 10% decision you will ever make. It is the core of true inner freedom.
The paradox of modern life is that we feel exhausted, not because we do too little, but because we try to decide on too much. The 90% is the trivial stuff, the menus, the emails, the endless streams of content. That is reversible and should be automated. The 10% is the foundation of your life, your core health, your foundational relationships, your deep work, and the integrity of your character. That is irreversible and demands your full, focused attention. Your time is not equal. Your decisions are not equal. You have a finite number of mental units to spend on choice. Choose to spend them like a Stoic philosopher king on the choices that echo throughout your entire life. You have the power to keep your mind pure, free, and purposeful. Everything else does not matter.